Negative interest rates, monetization of the treasury debt, universal basic income, that will be pathway to Democratic nomination. Don't worry about it. We'll just monetize the treasury debt when I'm totally open to negative interest rates. I want to have universal basic income. No talk about debt restructuring, right? Can't do that. And so because of all of this, because there'll be inflation, stagflation, all these type of things, we're going to see a combination of inflation and deflation. Inflation on the things that you need and you want to buy and replace, and deflation on the things that you own, like your real estate, your car, your computer, like everything. Everything is deflating. Things that you have will deflate. Things that you need, really need, and want to do are going to inflate. So you're going to have a convergence, right? So we're seeing debt will implode also on property and in stocks. You own stocks, they're deflating. So we're seeing bubble assets, and we're seeing a disruption inside of the credit system, the credit markets. So gold begins to break out beyond 1,300 in 2019. Now, this is where I begin to break out. Will begin in June, and then it hits. I don't know what number. Everyone's going to say, what's gold going to hit? It doesn't matter what gold's going to hit. And I'm going to show you why. Because gold is artificially priced down. And anybody who was born 1958, going through their second Saturn return onward, doesn't have at least a 15% position in physical gold, I don't know how they're sleeping at night, because they are not going to recover when this hits, whether it hits this year or the beginning of 2020. They will not recover. Oh, your pension fund? Don't worry about it. I have a pension fund. It's in trouble. You need to get physical gold, because we're looking at deflation followed by inflation that could result in hyperinflation depending on how this all plays out. And for those of you who say, well, gold hasn't done that well, gold has outperformed true inflation. True inflation rates have been 8%. 8% historically. If you go back in time over the past 150 years, it's 8%, meaning if you held gold, you still beat inflation over time, meaning the same amount of gold that could buy a McMansion in 1900 could buy a McMansion today, the same McMansion, the same amount of gold. Now, I'm not going to go into this. I'm going to do a financial webinar. I'm going to go into this more. But here's the deal. Historically, gold has been backed, all currencies up until, let's say, 1933 were backed by gold, right? Any global currency, world reserve currency, had 40% backing. In other words, you have to back that dollar, that US dollar, up until 1933. It was backed by 40% gold. That dollar was backed 40% by gold. If you go over 40%, it's too inflationary. If you go under 20%, like Churchill did right after the First World War or during the Depression, it's too deflationary. So here's the general rule of thumb. So if you do the math, what's 40% of all the money that's out there? All right, what's all the money in the world? The M1 money supply is 24 trillion. That's U.S., China, Eurozone, Japan. Put all the money together. How much is that? It's $24 trillion, right? So the official gold supply is 33,000 metric tons. The amount of dollars, right? The amount of gold needed. So if you had 40% backing of 24 trillion, you were going to back it by gold, right? The dollar amount of gold needed for 40% backing of the M1 money supply would be 9.6 trillion. So that means that you would have to back 24 trillion by 9.6 trillion worth of gold. And then if you divide it out, 33,000 metric tons times 8,265 equals 9.6 trillion, meaning that gold is really truly worth 8,265. Now, I know there's people saying, William, it's worth more. I know it's worth more. But this is, if you were to go back to the successful gold standard of 19th and early 20th century gold backing to currencies using the M1 money supply of all federal notes and currencies and coins in circulation, how they used to do it back in the good old days prior to the Great Depression, then you will see how much gold has been repressed and how undervalued it is. And here's the thing, the reason I'm getting to all of this, if the bonds go under and the stocks unwind and all this debt comes due and they can't manage it, they're going to have to write the debt off. And when they write the debt off, they're going to have to reassess the values of currencies, probably come up with a new world reserve currency, which is all part of this global financial reset event. And when they do that, they're going to assess it to something. They're going to all have to agree to what this new number, if they're going to write off X percent of debt and make sure there's more assets than debt, when they do this reset, they're all going to have to agree. Are they going to agree on dollar? No. Are they going to agree on yuan? No. But they're all going to agree on gold, because every central bank and every major government in the world, especially the Chinese and the Russians and the US, all hold gold. And the Indians, right? They're all hoarding, buying gold. While they're telling you to buy dollars, they're buying gold, because they know this reset is coming. This reset is coming. And if you think your pension's going to take care of you, you are living in la-la land. So this is why I'm showing this to you. It's a little beyond just astrology, but I'm trying to say to you that when they reset this, and when everything just goes to hell in a handbasket, when all this debt comes due, and it's coming due now, this year, and it will play itself out, it won't be a one-year event, you're going to see they're going to reset the value of your home, your stocks, your currency, everything, your pension. Oh yeah, your pension's not that much. It's not 1.6 million. It's now 700,000. Don't worry, you're going to get your 7, but you're only going to get this much left, because we reset the value. And when people say that never happened, why would you say it? No, it happened in 1933. It happened in 1857. It happened in 1773, and it's going to happen again. And the astrologers, that's right, majority of astrologers are going to be clueless when it hits. They're going to say, nobody could have saw this coming. It was so obvious it was coming. The astrology is screaming at us, but we continue as a community to look and put our heads in the sand. All right? So make a decision now. Are you going to be part of that denial, or are you going to get active and start telling people out there to do something with that?